let's get to know scooters. What is a scooter? Is it this thing? Yes, but it can also be this thing. So in order to differentiate, you call this thing a kick scooter and this thing a motor scooter. But if you're being casual, they're both scooters. But then, of course, the question is, what the heck is a moped? Alright, so perhaps we need to take a deeper dive into names. Moped is literally derived from the words motor and pedal. So a major feature of mopeds is their possession of pedals. And basically manufacturers of mopeds are telling you that owning a moped comes with the responsibility to put some effort in if you want to get somewhere. Meaning you got to do some pedaling, buddy. And to emphasize the manufacturers want to make you put in effort, they give these things 50 cc's or less. So low powered engines, meaning you're gonna have to put in the effort.
Is he making a point? Is that legal? Of course not.
He's in the fast lane too.
Mopeds do share a step-through frame design with scooters though, which makes them look very similar. But motor scooters are more powerful. They have 50 cc plus engines, and depending on who is defining the term motor scooter, it can be up to 250 cc's or 650 cc's. And importantly, scooters do not have pedals. So there's an understanding by manufacturers that people who are buying motor scooters don't want to put in the work. Or you could say scooters are supposed to be more luxurious. And to bolster that assumption, I think we should take a look at scooter seats, because they're pretty cushy. And to bolster it even more, scooters come with automatic transmissions. That makes them easier to operate because you have to put in less work than you would with a manual transmission. Now I own a scooter, and their luxury is only part of what appeals to me about a scooter. I also appreciate their compact nature, because my mind equates compact with efficiency and convenience, and somehow I think owning a scooter will make my life more efficient and convenient. Anyways, I've got problems. My scooter, however, is in need of a complete overhaul, and before we started to rebuild my scooter, I wanted to take a look at some of my favorite scooters as inspiration on this build. I think it's appropriate to begin by looking at some of the earliest scooters. We're talking 1908, around that era. These things really look like homemade scooters at this point in time, and this makes me feel comfortable. The 1921 Kenilworth and the ABC Scootamoda, what a great name, are some of the early attempts that look quite similar to a kick scooter. The 1908 Auto Fatul, it's French, I don't know how to say it, is a fun one for its enthusiastic attempt to maximize comfort. I mean, look at the seat. And if you take a closer look, I would hazard that the Auto Fatul was an inspiration to later scooter manufacturers. Its key design characteristics are shared with scooters of today. The low stature, the cushy seat, the engine directly underneath the seat, and the gas tank above the rear wheel. And one of the most beautiful scooters ever made, in the opinion of many, appeared in 1946 and was called the Vespa 98. I particularly like the single seat and the curving lines on this scooter. And this later evolved into the Vespa 150, which is basically what I think most people think of when they picture a scooter. I also like the Macoletta, which is a German brand, and I like it because it has an extended seat, this elongated seat thing. And it may not really be any longer than other models of its day, but to me it looks like it is, and I find that appealing. Then another unique scooter design that appeals to me is the Honda Motocampo, which takes space efficiency to another level, which I like, by making a scooter that folds into a small cube. The rectangular shape is strikingly different, and the recessed headlight is also fun. These are all key aspects of the design that I like. So it is absent of the step-through frame, so is it technically a scooter? And then another one clearly inspired by the Motocampo is the Catalis Space Bar. And I'm not even sure if this bike exists as a production model or if it's just a design concept that someone came up with. But it's very similar to the Motocampo, except that this seems to be like an off-road version where it has these cool racks to carry all your gear. and some knobby tires on it. I really like the racks on this for some reason because it increases functionality, I think. So these are all scooters that I particularly like and little features of them that I particularly like and I like to borrow for my scooter if at all possible. And of course, not all of these are going to make sense. These features, if I combine them all, they're just not going to work all together. So I'm going to pick and choose this one or that one and prioritize which feature I want most. But one of the main design elements I'm torn on in the moment is, do I have the step-through frame or do I have a boxy rectangular scooter when I'm done? There's sort of advantages and disadvantages to both. The step-through frame is going to be very convenient and luxurious, so you can put your little feet right out in front of you, more comfortable. But if I made a rectangular boxy scooter design, I could reinforce the frame more and make it stronger, and I could probably have more space to sort of hide components and whatnot. Do I need to do that? I don't know. And then if I did do the step-through frame, like what is the front of the scooter going to look like? It's going to look like every other scooter that's out there? And is that a bad thing? On this build, I was planning on doing some custom fiberglass work with making molds for the fiberglass, gel coat, all that fancy stuff, until I realized that how expensive that was going to be. And because that goes, it's sort of the antithesis of cheap scooter. This is a $50 scooter build, so instead of some custom fiberglass, we're going to do some high quality recycling here. We're basically going to take a common object and make it as cool as possible for a scooter body here. Something to see, hasn't come to fruition yet. Hopefully it will be very interesting and I hope you'll come along and check it out.